Hi there, friends. I wanted to take a moment and show you how to use some of my most frequently used tools when creating a PowerPoint from scratch. The items we're going to talk about today are choosing the template, adding image files, layering and transparency, removing the background on a computer image, adding drop shadows, and a stock shape upgrade. So let's get started, shall we? First thing is the easiest. I have a PowerPoint screen loaded here, ready to go. And when I am working from scratch and using scrap packs and things to create a presentation, I always go with the white one. That's the question I get the most. Everyone says, well, what theme did you use? I don't use any. I choose the white theme. And then even more boring, I go in there and I choose blank. This means I have nothing in my way, nothing that's saying, hey, no, put a shape here. And I get to make all those decisions on my own. The second thing you can see over to the left, I have one of my scrap packs actually loaded here. Actually, I have a bunch of them here, but here's the Amore sampler. This is the one of the ones that's available for you in the Google Drive. And so I have that open nearby my PowerPoint, and I have a bunch of my images here. So I can see on the contact sheet, very Valentine's Day, super cute. I got these little buttons here. I have the little envelope, the heart, the ribbon. And I have a couple papers. So I like to keep these colors in mind when I'm creating something. I kind of see what I have to work with, and then I also can see where there might be gaps and I might want to pull something in from the internet. But for our purposes today, let's just start with a background paper. One of the easiest things to do for me is just to take that file and drag it right onto the screen. A lot of the papers, though, in your scrap packs are going to be rectangular, and of course the PowerPoint slides are, in fact, the paper is square and the PowerPoints are rectangular. So you need to do a little bit of something about that. So I usually choose to crop the background or crop the image, and then I use those black lines and I drag it so that it is the size of my screen. And then I actually will go into my image file and I drag it from the corner until it fits. And you want to do that as much as possible because you won't distort your shape. If you pull it from the sides, you can kind of end up stretching it out. And what's nice is you can see that because I did that crop, I don't have any of the shape overhanging my slide, and that's great. That'll help to reduce image size for you. Instead of having those large images, parts of it hanging off the edge of your slide, that's just unnecessary space. So let's just layer this up and have a good time here. I'm gonna bring in my felt heart. Thought that was pretty cute. Again, I can resize it. You guys know how to do most of this. I can rotate it. That works out well. I like that little ribbon. Let me bring the ribbon in. This is nice, but maybe I would like to actually have the heart on top of the ribbon. So if that's the case, under the Arrange tab, this is usually under Format Picture. And depending on your computer, this could look or be located at a slightly different spot. But in Format Picture, there's usually a tab that says Arrange. And here you can reorder the objects. What I want to do, because I have the heart highlighted, I want to bring my heart to the front. And that will just now move. You can see the heart is now in front of the red ribbon. So we added our image files and we modified the layering. Now maybe when I'm looking at this, I think, this looks nice, but it's all very bright and all the very same tone. And I want to add text on here, and I'm afraid people aren't going to be able to see it. So if I select my background image, one thing I can always do when I'm in my images is modify the transparency. So the greater the transparency, it means the less of the color and the image is actually showing. So you can take this anywhere from super, super light and just a suggested print all the way to maybe something a little bit more subtle. You're also able to, I do this a lot if I grab an image offline and maybe like everything in my slide is very blue and purple and I have an image, but I think it's a little too red. You can go into recolor, which is so cool. This is one of the amazing things that PowerPoint has that the Mac programs don't have. That's my same shape, but I can say I want to see that in purple. Bam, totally cool. Gives you tons of options there to play around with your images and make a lot of different things work. Let's talk about removing backgrounds, because sometimes you're not going to be working from a scrap pack and you're going to need to get an image offline. Lots of times you will find images online. PNG files will often have the background removed, but lots of times when we get a JPEG file, it has a white background. And so this is just a JPEG file that I saved to my desktop. It's just a bunch of little hearts and I love it. I think it's super cute. but it's got that nasty white background, and it's after Labor Day, no white after Labor Day. And so I want to remove the background. And it's actually as simple as selecting that image and going under Format Picture and clicking Remove Background. And when you do, it will generally find the edge of your picture for you here. It automatically does it. Once you click off of that object, the background is now gone. So it's way classier looking. It looks like it came right from your scrap pack, which is super. The one thing that I'm not really digging about these is I feel like they're all kind of blending together. And sometimes when I feel that way, one of the easiest things to do is to add a drop shadow. So again, in Format Picture, I'm going to go to the option under Picture Style, Drop Shadow on my rectangle. And you can see it gave me a nice shadow there. I'm going to add one to the heart as well. And you know what? I'll add one to the ribbon while I'm at it. And now all of those things look like they're layered and kind of floating on top of that background paper, which is super. One more thing to show you, because this is actually a recent discovery of mine, and I really like it. Under the home screen, you always have the option of adding shapes. And many times we go to add these shapes and it always gives you that generic blue one to start, which, I guess if we're all going to talk in the little blue bubble. And I think a lot of us know that we can go under Format Picture, and I can change this to red, which is, very theme appropriate. I can change it to black. And I'm just going through my Format Picture options up here. But I didn't know if you knew you can right click on that, go into Format Shape. And when you do, you'll get this other set of editing options that will show up. And again, depending on your computer system, it'll show up in a slightly different area, but this option will still be here. And what I'll do is go into Picture or Texture for this item. And I could choose a picture from my computer. I can say that I want to actually add I'll go to my desktop just to show you. If I go back to desktop and I go to my Amore sampler, I can say that I want that to be filled in, but I want it to be filled in with the stripe paper that I had. When I do that and click OK, I actually now filled in that text bubble with one of my paper scraps. So it's again a great way to kind of use a pre-made shape, but add the matchiness of your scrap samplers. But even easier than this, if you're not using the scrap thing, is to format your shape. Again, I'm going to go into Picture or Texture, and instead of choosing Picture, I'm going to choose a texture. Look at all these awesome options that are already here. Green marble, hello, super classy. Recycled paper, there's blue tissue paper. I really thought the stationery and the parchment options were really cool. If I go down here, there's a crumpled paper bag. It's an awesome texture to add. And just like on your other things, I can rotate the transparency or adjust the transparency, make it more see-through or less see-through. And then as long as I click OK, I've got that. And so what a great way to add a little bit more personality to a stock image in your presentation. So again, today we talked about choosing a blank template, adding image files, layering, adjusting the transparency, removing the background of a web-based image, inserting drop shadows, and doing a stock shape upgrade. So I hope these things are really useful for you when you make your next amazing PowerPoint. Thanks so much for your attention. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.